Hello, everyone. Blessings. Blessings to you on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening. I'm so happy you can join me tonight. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I'm the founder of A Life of Spiritual Power. I'm an ordained Science of Mind minister, retired, and doing this now for fun and for, I don't know, what else? I'm doing it. So, welcome to Sunday night. If you are here, please take a moment and say hello. I love to see who's with me, and I love to know that I'm not speaking to an empty room. In my perfect world, there's 1,000 people here, but tonight there's a precious few. Hi, David. Thank you for checking in. It is pouring down rain here, by the way. I'm streaming to you live from Southwest Florida, and summer is our rainy season. And about an hour ago, the skies opened and the rains have come, and it is so, so glorious. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen you. So we come together every Sunday night. I've been doing it for a long, long time. Really, I think 2020 maybe, or 2019. I can't remember exactly when I started, but we come together to actually just have a conversation that matters. You know, the world is so full of conditions and circumstances and conflict and strife, and people are so worried and afraid, and so much conversation is enough to make a woman nuts. So I come together to keep my sanity, and to hopefully share that sanity with you to some degree. So I'm deeply honored to be with you tonight, deeply grateful for your participation in Sunday Night Alive every week. So our topic this week is Permeated by Love. It was inspired in me by, I went to a dear friend's celebration of life service this past weekend, and the person officiating the service used this word, permeate. And I actually realized that that's kind of what God really is, that God's like this thing that permeates us. So I want to talk about that tonight because I do believe that we are on the verge of a new, a global new idea about divinity, or about God, or a deity, or about love or intelligence. So I love talking about that. So that's what we're going to do tonight. But before we do that, I'm going to speak a word of blessing upon us, which is simply to invite us all in to a moment of sacred remembrance that we are more than our bodies, and that we come together in a field of collective consciousness, and that I want us to do that on purpose. And I want us to open ourselves um, to a new idea, to a aha moment, a revelation of spirit, something. I mean, why waste our time being here if we're not going to experience something different, if we're not going to be lifted or uplifted by being together? So just take a moment with me at the end of this Sunday, or wherever you are. It could be the beginning of your Sunday, in truth, but wherever you are and whenever you are, just simply take a breath with me, a collective community breath. I don't know how many people are here, but we are forming a community right now, a Sangha circle, if you will, a spiritual circle. And as we turn within, I just invite you to release any anxiety anywhere that's showing up right now, whether it's personal or family or work or health or money, whatever it is, release it. And simply join with me in the remembrance that we are more, so much more than our body or our body of affairs, that we are birthless, deathless, spiritual entities who chose to come to earth to express and experience love. That's why we're here. We are here for the purpose of expanding our capacity to give love and to receive love. So in the spirit of our topic tonight, permeated by love, I bless our time together, calling it good, knowing that the perfect people are here, knowing that the perfect words are spoken through me, and knowing that you hear exactly what you need to hear in order to move into your week with ease, grace, and confidence. And so for this and so much more, I'm grateful. We let this time be, and we do it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Amen. So, so this word permeates very, I wanted to use the word penetrate also, but penetrate has a little bit of a sexual connotation, which I'm going to leave towards the end so we can get past it. But permeate is really a very nice idea, because if you think about it, you know how when you fry fish in your kitchen? So when you fry fish in your kitchen, the smell of fish permeates the kitchen. Do you understand? You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't really even taste it, but it does it just the same. So there's something in this word that I like when it comes to talking about God. So the definition, one of the definitions in the dictionary, is to spread through something and to be present in every part of it. And I do think that when we talk about spirit, we're talking about it being present in us, everywhere present in everyone, no spot where God is not, no little corner of the universe where this intelligence and this power and this presence is hiding from us. It is everywhere. So I would say that we live in an atmosphere, not only an environment. So we're a little bit geared towards environments. Like I have my house, I have my car, I have my bank account, I have my relationships, I have my health, my body, my skin, blah, 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 blah. So we have stuff. And I would call that stuff our environment. But actually we live more true, or equally as true in any rate, is that we live in an atmosphere. Now, one way we could look at this is we live because, so why are we alive? Like, under what circumstances could we not be alive? And the answer to that question on the most basic level at all is that um, we are alive because there's oxygen. No oxygen, there is no life anywhere. That we live because there is an atmosphere of oxygen. Now, I like this because you can't see oxygen, you can't feel oxygen, you can't touch oxygen, but nonetheless, it is there, just like the smell of the fish in your kitchen, and critically important to our living. So it's actually the environment. It's like a fish in water. Like without the water, the fish cannot live. Without the atmosphere of oxygen, you and I cannot live. I would propose here that without the atmosphere of spirit, we might live, but we might not live as well as we would live if we could recognize that that spirit operates for us, in us, and through us exactly the same way as oxygen does. Now, it is permeate, such a great word, because I think that spirit is exactly like oxygen. So whatever you want to call it, this idea of spirit is quite real. Whether you like it or not, whether you can see oxygen or not, it is quite real. Whether you can see spirit or not, it's quite real. Whether you can see where the smell of fish is coming from, it's quite real. Now, in our culture, we are indoctrinated. We continue to be indoctrinated at this time that it ain't real if you can't touch it. And we have kind of a fundamental, I don't know what the right word is, maybe a little distrust in things that are invisible or things you can't see. But um, but that is changing because we are coming into a not only theoretical but a practical understanding that that which is invisible becomes visible by means of consciousness. Now, we kind of know this, you've all probably been exposed to the studies on water, that if you bless water, it has a molecular core impact on the molecules in the water. They've done studies, they did this amazing studies on people meditating. I can't remember which city in this moment, but people medicating, sorry, meditating on the crime rate in a particular city. And as people meditated, there was evidence that the crime rate went down. There's many, many, many observations and recordings of prayer working remotely. So I can pray for you wherever you are on the planet or in the cosmos, and my prayers can be met with a physical, mental, or emotional reaction for the people I am praying for. This implies and almost proves, well, it does prove to me, maybe not to you yet, but does prove that there's something happening on the invisible side of life that cannot be measured by the five senses, or however many. I think there's five, right? Touch, taste, vision, hearing, and feeling. Those are our five physical senses. We were gifted with them by the Spirit so that we can experience this realm of existence. Because without those five senses, what fun would it be if you couldn't taste and smell, hear, and feel? And so, but we're also living in a universe that is non-physical or metaphysical. This is practical metaphysics. That's what we're doing here. And I don't know if you can hear that thunder or not, but it's very loud. I don't think you can hear it, actually. We're living in a universe that is primarily non-physical, like the oxygen. No oxygen and you're dead. That's it. You do not live if there's no oxygen. You do not live well if there's no spirit. So this permeated by love, permeated by the Spirit, wants us to reevaluate what God is. It's a fundamental premise of New Thought, a fundamental premise of transcendentalism, a fundamental premise of metaphysics, that God is not, well, not everyone agrees with this yet, of course, so there are people who would argue the point quite fervently. But if God is considered to be a similar entity to us, like a being somewhere else, like the Wizard of Oz, somewhere else that we need to find in order to live a good life, that we need to find in order to be whole, if we need to find in order to be happy, we need to find in order to feel aliveness within us, then we will be forever seeking and never finding, because there's no entity out there. I promise you, there is no God in a cloud in heaven. There's no something made of flesh and bone or any other way sitting somewhere else other than here. Such a critical idea for those of us in practical metaphysics to understand, that we will be in the desert of our life experience forever without the presence of the Spirit in our lives. The Spirit, and by the way, I'm not negating in any way or judging in any way this external idea of God, because I know many, many people who have found their salvation, their bliss, their their healing from their relationship with Jesus or with their relationship with God. And if that brings you peace and brings you healing, please, it is so good, so much better than not finding it. But transcendence is the path to happiness and joy and peace. Transcendence is a path to moving through life without the fear of death, without the fear of hell. Uh, to transcend the ego and to move into allowing this spirit of love, the spirit of God, the spirit of eternity to find its way to you, is to transform our livingness, is to transform the conditions of our lives, to move out of fear, worry, doubt, and lack into the life abundant, into the life of unfettered joy. So this Edgar Mitchell said, transcendence gets you beyond the ego. If you go beyond the ego, you see all of this in a more decent perspective. All of this meaning the world of conditions and circumstances, the world that we have created or miscreated through our misunderstanding about spiritual laws and principles, about the presence of God. And then you can put the pieces together, he says. Then you can kind of figure out what all of this means, how all the dots connect. He says, as a civilization, we have not done this yet. And this is absolutely true, right? We have not done this yet. That we still are in an evolutionary stage where we're still more grounded in the physical than the non-physical. We're still grounded in what's in front of us rather than what is transcendent. So to transcend something means to see it from a new perspective, to rise above it, to I don't know how else to say that. So as individuals, so my message to us always, I've been a ordained minister for 25 years. I came into ministry with no very strong connection to organized religion at all. And I also came into ministry 25 years ago not very happy and not very fulfilled and not very grounded in value or meaning in life. So allowing the Spirit to permeate me has given my life a kind of purpose and value and meaning that before that moment it did not have. Now, I think one of the things that's required for us, for every single one of us, is because spirit is like oxygen or like water, because spirit is an atmosphere surrounding us, it is everywhere present all of the time. So there's no moment when spirit is absent from you. Like it's not like it's not there and then you do something worthy and it comes to you. There's more, because we are so grounded in the physical. It's more like we have to give it permission. So there's some, like, we have to, there's all kinds of sayings that speak to this. Take one step towards God and God will take 10 steps towards you. Trust, jump off the cliff and trust that you will be caught. There's some movement in consciousness that depends on our receptivity for it to actually begin to become our atmosphere. Am I making sense? So part of our job as metaphysicians and philosophers and seekers of the divine is to become humble and to become keenly aware that there are things we don't know, the knowing of which will transform us. that we need to step into the mystery of living. Like, where did, I mean, I, I'm not sure. I just think for me, maybe it's obvious now and not so obvious to everyone. But where did all this come from? I mean, where, like all of this come from? Where did the beauty of a tree and a rose and a bird and an elephant and a tiger and the planets and the sun and the moon and the ebbs and the tides? We didn't make it. It's like it came from somewhere. And I believe that our humility in the face of that allows for something transcendent to ourselves to enter into us and become the activity of our consciousness. And when spirit becomes the activity of our consciousness, we live different. We love different. We have compassion differently. We see others differently. We forgive people easily. We draw unto ourselves everything we need to live a good and wonderful life. So, a quote by Joseph Campbell says, to keep, I have a spelling error in here, but that's all right. We keep thinking of deity as a kind of fact somewhere, God as a fact. Joseph Campbell said, well, this was truly a terrible mess I made, is simply our own notion of something that is symbolic of transcendence and mystery. And the mystery is what's important. And Joseph Campbell, he's such a wonderful character in the history of the evolution of consciousness, because he really does reside in the realm of mystery. I mean, life, have you not experienced that life is so mysterious when you let go, and open to something, a possibility not before imagined, something happens. It does happen. And it's because we are living in an atmosphere of cause and effect, an atmosphere of unconditional love, an atmosphere that is eternal. And when we embrace spirit as the very fact of our life, like oxygen, it's a fact that you are spiritual, made in the image and likeness of love, then you live in a much different way. So we do need to live the life, to live a resplendent life, an abundant life, a vibrant, vital life, a loving life, a joyful life, a meaningful life of courage, a life of intention and commitment and inspiration. We need to allow ourselves to be permeated by whatever it is I'm talking about, penetrated by whatever it is I'm talking about. To penetrate is a different, permeate means, means, permeate means to spread through something and to be present in every part of it. Sometimes when we are deep in trouble, like deep in grief or deep in addiction or deep in trauma, we actually do get penetrated. Like there is penetration is kind of a forceful entrance. And for many people, spirit does happen that way. We've heard many testimonies from convicts who commit some heinous crime. They get arrested, they get tried, and they get convicted and find their fannies thrown in jail. And then they have a transcendent experience where they experience something outside of themselves, something greater than themselves, something more beautiful than themselves. So that is kind of what my topic is about tonight, is really opening to allowing yourself to entertain the idea there's more to you than flesh and bone. There's more to you than your circumstances. There's more to you than your childhood. There's more to you than your disease. There's more to you than your pocketbook. There's more to you. And that if you can entertain that with an open heart and an open mind, I believe that it will penetrate you and permeate you. And all it takes is just a little bit of surrender, a little bit of trust, and a little bit of curiosity. So I believe that we are on a global edge of coming to a new conclusion about God and what God is and how we practice devotion, gratitude, worship, all of those things. Because it's not so much to an outside energy, entity. It's more to the truth of our being. Often we say that God is both transcendent and eminent, like eminent meaning right here, right now, inside of you. Both things can be true, right? It's not either or, it's both and. So when the spirit is permeating the majority of human beings, there will be a radical shift on this planet. Radical on how we deal with children, how we deal with adults, seniors, how we deal with animals, how we deal with conflict, how we deal with disappointment, how we deal with ill health. I mean, there is some great good to be derived from understanding that we are more than the body. So begin to think of your life as an atmosphere rather than an environment. I think that's one of my major messages tonight, is that you are an atmosphere. And by the way, you are an atmosphere every time you walk into a room with other people, every time you're on the phone with someone. It's like, what is your consciousness exuding? How are you affecting the atmosphere of others? Because it's powerful. It's incredibly powerful. Do you see? Can you catch a little bit? I remember my teacher Michael Beckwith used to say on Sundays, because he would do these really powerful sermons where your logical mind would go, "What the f? What are you talking about? I can't catch this. What are you saying?" And he would say, "Don't try to figure it out. Just catch it in consciousness." Catching consciousness that no matter who you think you are, the I that you think you are is not that you are a consciousness, you are an atmosphere, you are an eternal, birthless, deathless being here to give and receive, and to learn, of course, and to grow. So open this week to allowing yourself to be permeated, like cooking fish in your kitchen, or like oxygen, or like the presence of love within you, because you are, I promise you are an incredibly loving, compassionate, joyful, giving human being. And even though you're not viewed that way by others, perhaps, even if you don't view yourself that way, it doesn't negate the truth of what I just said. Because the moment you understand that the ego has to go, the spirit moves in, you will begin to prove the words I just said as actually true. Okay? Do you say yes to that? Yes, please say yes to that. All right, so that's all I have for tonight. Well, that's not all I have. I mean, if you can catch this and let yourself let yourself really begin to express this, it would be you would be amazed at the results. All right, I'm going to pray us out. Before I do that, please let me invite you into my website. There are past blogs, written articles on all kinds of subjects, many years of them. There are amazing photographs from Africa. It's a way for you to connect with me, and it's a way for you to support my ministry with your love offerings, donations, and tithes, which I encourage you to do. Not only because they inspire me, they give me, they let me know that I bring value to you, spiritual food, and they also let me go back to Africa, my happy, joyful space. So please, you can do that through the website. You can also do it through PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle on gmail.com. All right. So I'm going to pray us out. So if you're here with me, take a breath. Oh, take a breath and just open your mind, open your heart. Feel the atmosphere you're in right now. Is it happy? Does it feel happy? Or does it feel fishy? Right? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel optimistic? Does it feel full of positive expectation? Or does it feel defensive or angry or judgmental? Just notice what you notice about that. And then whatever it is, just let the atmosphere be, let the environment be as I move into prayer to close us out. And the prayer to close us out is simply to recognize spirit as the very essence of our lives. It is the oxygen of our being. It is real, it is present, it is surrounding you, and it is knocking at your door. And so the word I speak in thanksgiving and gratitude for tonight is that whoever is within the sound of my voice tonight, that there is an opening, a little opening, because that's all that spirit needs to permeate your being. That's all she needs. Just a little opening, an invitation to the party. And so I'm just happy and grateful that as we move out of this time, that there are blessings, there is grace, there is healing, there is relief and release. And all of that is because we are not alone here. We're not disconnected here. We are surrounded by, permeated by an atmosphere of unconditional love that is the very activity of life everywhere and the very activity of our own lives. Say yes to this. Allow it to be that way for you. Become part of the global movement to transform the God out there to the God in here. I promise you a life resplendent beyond your wildest dreams. And so with this word released, I'm grateful. I expect the demonstration of the words I've spoken everywhere, that there is no resistance to them on the part of the universe. So if you have any, just drop it, accept it, let it be. And so it is. Amen. All right. So it is. Yes, I agree. So always, if you or any of you want to talk about any of this at a more deeper level, please just reach out to me. I am here for you. I am here for you. So peace and blessings. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, and I will see you again next week on Sunday Night of Life or somewhere in between. Peace and blessings.